So today wanted to give a full update and rundown on the relay crop now that the rye portion of our 2020 relay crop trial has all been wrapped up. One of the main things as we move forward with cover crops in Iowa, cover crops in the Midwest, is we've got to be able to have the seed. We've got to be able to grow more cover crop seed to be able to cover more acres as cover crop numbers continue to grow to protect water quality, sequester carbon, implement sustainable ag systems. The problem in implementing some of these small grains like rye or wheat or triticale or barley is that the per acre economics can be really tough to actually pencil them out. What I mean by that is land expenses, equipment expenses, some of your other fixed costs are super high on a per acre per year basis. So utilizing a small grain that doesn't yield quite like a corn or soybean crop does, it doesn't have the economics per acre, implementing one of those small grain systems can be really tough to pencil it out and make it economically work. But on our farm, we were saying, hey, we need more cover crop seed ourselves. It's an expense for us every year. Why don't we try to grow some of our own cover crop seed? We're going to plant cover crop anyway. Might as well see if we can harvest some of it. But to my point, the economics weren't quite fully penciled out. So we tried to relay crop, harvesting rye, or last year we used wheat or rye with soybeans grown on the same acre in the same year. This is called a relay cropping system, where you relay the small grain and the soybean, the legume, together. Okay, so how did this all go down, especially here in this rye trial, where now all we have left is just a little bit of rye left over that the combine missed. Last fall, this was a cornfield. Harvested really good yields on our corn. Came in and drilled in our cereal rye cover crop just like normal, our normal program ahead of beans. We did up the rate of this cover crop a little bit, and we did use a better seed as well, not necessarily just super cheap bin run seed, but try to get something a little bit better quality, a little bit better germination, a little bit better vigor in that cover crop. We upped the rate to about a bushel to the acre, which isn't super high. It can maybe go a little bit higher, but you don't want to get too carried away. We drilled all that in, normal 7.5 inch spacing, nothing fancy. This spring we did come in with a little bit of dry fertilizer, about 150 pounds total of a blend that's got NP and K in it and micronutrients, but nothing too wild and crazy. Then on May 1st, the soybeans got drilled into here. These are a fuller season soybean, so we're looking at a 3.6, 3.8 maturity soybean, where a lot of our crop is 3.2, 3.4, 3.0 type of soybean. So you want full season, full maturity soybeans, and we drilled those into this rye when it was about 15 inches tall or so on May 1st. We did get a shot of fungicide on this rye right before it was going to seed, and what we found last year was some of the quality wasn't superb. So we tried to use a little shot of fungicide to help with the quality component here a little bit. Then we came back through, we tried to harvest this on, I believe it was July 6th, and it was running really wet. It was running about 22 to 24% moisture on this rye, even on July 6th. We waited a couple days, came back in on July 10th, and we're able to harvest about 30 bushel to the acre out here, and it averaged a moisture of about 18%. Still definitely plenty high, and we actually did end up spreading this rye on the floor of the grain bin, and it's still sitting on the floor of the bin right now, just blowing some air on it, allowing the air and better circulation to let this rye dry down for the last little bit. So making sure that it doesn't spoil, and what we harvest is actually going to be utilized for cover crop seed here in another couple months when we're ready to come back out and drill in our cover crop. Last couple things on the logistics of how we went about this. Like I said, this is our normal soybean drill, our normal cover crop drill. It's a 20-foot Great Plains no-till drill, nothing fancy. Just drill it in, basically controlled spill. And then when we came back through and harvested, we just use our regular soybean platform, but we just leave the cutter head above the soybeans. So you just leave it up high enough that you're just cutting the seed heads right off the top. This little patch here is kind of on the end row, and it got missed a little bit, but now you can see the whole rest of the field. These soybeans are really going nuts, and they've got full sunlight, full capability of being able to grow as wild and crazy as they want to. We don't have the wheel tracks fully canopied and fully closed in, and you do kill some of those soybeans when you run over them, but for the most part it does look pretty good. Getting good weed suppression and really trying to be profitable here. So at the end of the day, we have a rye crop that we raised 30 bushel on. That rye is worth, say, $5.50 per bushel right now, which is not a lot. We're working on trying to improve some of that for farmers to be able to adopt better small grain systems, but we got some revenue coming off of that. Not a lot of expenses going into it, not a lot of expenses on the soybeans, and I'm hoping that we can still pull 65 type bushel soybean crop off of this. So we're giving up 10-15% on the soybean yields, but at the end of the day, it's about being profitable. It's about implementing the principles of soil health, being profitable, instilling that the farm can be what we like to say economically resilient and environmentally sustainable. We have a bunch of other updates and pictures and stuff of this on our social media channels. We'll definitely continue to expand this out going forward. I've got some wild and crazy ideas on how we continue to scale up relay cropping in Iowa and around the Midwest. Definitely